Alright, so once again we're going to get a start on some Tannhauser here. You can see my entire setup. We are going to be going to the Isle of Crete and visiting the maze of Daedalus and the Minotaur, a little buddy right here. And this is a custom scenario from the Solo book that I have been working on. I just wanted to give you an overview of the whole thing. You can see how much space it takes up. It's 2 card tables put together with my playboard over the top of it, custom mat, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of stuff goes into this. Just to kind of get a quick look at who is coming with us, we have Commando Delta over here. And for those of you that have never used it, I do not bother to use the equipment cards, and I don't use all the tokens because there are certain things that you just don't drop, so you don't really need to have the tokens for them. They would normally be there so that you could look them up in the book, but since I have these equipment cards, which are really nice, these are from the BGG site. If you've not printed these things off, I would highly suggest it. It really eliminates a lot of looking things up. For those of you that don't play this all the time, it's not a bad way to go. I just mounted these on some scrap mat board. I do have the tokens down for anything that is ringed in yellow and black, and that's because those things can be dropped. So if Commando Delta goes down, he dies, his equipment needs to be dropped, or it's something that gets used up like a grenade, I can discard that token and it'll be gone. So not only do we have Delta, but of course we have Alpha, and this scenario calls for 2 troopers and 2 heroes. I decided to go with the big guns since I knew that we were going up against the Minotaur, so I brought in Barry. Can't get a bigger gun than that. And we went with his commando pack. And then just to show you guys how the changes work, which is not really radical, but it's a little bit different, I chose to use Hoax and her little invisible figures over here. And unfortunately I played through this one time. Although I won the scenario, I've also gone through and I've made some edits and made the scenario a bit more difficult. And even having won the scenario, there was a little bit of a problem getting everybody out since the Minotaur doesn't take much to take a person down. Fortunately, Barry hit him with about everything he had in one shot last time and almost took him out in one blow. This specific, if you can see this on here, I use my laptop. These are the rules and the scenarios that are on there. I will eventually have this printed off, but since it's still a work in progress, I'm just using this particular one. You can see you really need to have this one because those red numbers on there indicate where spawn spots will be. And what is essentially happening is we have trailed Heisinger and his cronies to Greece, and they are after an item inside the Minotaur's maze. We have just gotten first word that there might be something in this maze. We don't necessarily know if it's a Minotaur or not, but we do know that there's a lot of supernatural stuff going on in World War I Extended, and it's very possible. So we are sending a group in to try to retrieve whatever the item might be before the right can get to it, and that's the job. And that little item is being denoted by a flag, and that's right inside the middle of the maze, and that is our objective. We need to avoid the Minotaur or kill him if we can in order to get ourselves out. We need to have everybody that is alive get out of the maze, and we need to kill anybody that happens to get in our way. Alright, let's get started. Oh, did not mention, we'll be using someone new this time. Up until this scenario, this guy was not available, but he is now, and that is Astros. So if you don't have Astros, you really could not play Scenario 5 in this. This is going to be a branching campaign, and if you couldn't play Scenario 5, you could technically go to Scenario 6 because that is the other part of the branch, and that would allow you to go in a different route, bypassing this entire maze. If you don't have this, however, you're going to be losing out on probably 3 different scenarios altogether. That will include this maze and the map on the other side of this board. Just a quick look at some of the cards by Astros. There is more than there are for most of the other villains, if you will, right people. And I think he has 13 cards right now. And I've already made 1 or 2 edits to these things because things that I thought were going to be perfect, turns out that they didn't work out that way, and that is why we play test. But he has some pretty cool stuff. Let's just say he is on the attack all the time. He doesn't do a lot of sitting around and waiting. He is after you. and we put some special stuff in here just for him so that he can catch up really quickly and get to where he needs to go. So these are just prototype cards. I did not print these out, or I should say I did not buy these like I did with my other ones off of Printer Studio. I simply printed these out on a laser printer. We have a nice one now where I work, and again I mounted these on some mat board, which is a little bit thicker, but I do have a set of cards with Eva Kramer that I also didn't print out, and those I just simply put in sleeves on just regular inkjet paper, and honestly they look pretty decent. So, but I kind of prefer it. These are just a little nicer quality, as you can probably tell even through the video. So I'm going to shuffle those up and I'll be right back. We're going to get ourselves set up and we will go. Started. I have the camera is being handheld. I don't have it up on a tripod. I'm doing this myself. Obviously not a professional situation here, but you'll get a chance to see what we're doing. We are just about ready to get into the maze, and the whole idea behind this is we are after that particular flag right there. That is what both the Union and the Reich are after. We happen to get here first, at least supposedly we have, and we are entering, which is kind of neat in this this particular map, because you can enter right next to another person but not actually see that person. There's a wall right here, and so one section could go that way and one section or faction could go the other way, and then there's two more on the other side that are just like that. So you could play 4 players on this map and start right next to each other and not actually see each other for a while. This is going to be our entry right here into the maze, and we will do what you do on any particular round, and that is roll for initiative. I generally use the blue for the Union, and I use the red for whoever we're going up against. And with this particular pack, we have a +3 for the Union because of hoax, but we also have a -3 because of Astros, so they're going to cancel each other out right now. And the Union's going to take this by a roll of 8 to 7, so they're going to go first. And just like the regular game, it will alternate. Now here's the only drawback that I've seen to this awesome map, and that is these little guys are revenants. They are part of the enemies that are helping to protect this maze with the Minotaur. They are kind of half man, half creature deals that are being used as tokens right here. I guess I could have probably pulled some Zombicide guys out, but I actually kind of like these pictures. I think they're kind of cool looking. The rules for the Revenants are in the book as well, so you can see how they work. But essentially they are going to move 4 spaces. I believe it's 4 spaces. Let me double check on that. They're going to move 4 spaces every activation. If they happen to come up against a Union player, they will deal 3 automatic successes. Of course, you can roll shock rolls. And at the beginning of every single round, 2 more Revenants will spawn on the board in random spots, and we can have up to 10 of them. Astros is not even going to be in the game until at least the 3rd round, and unless he is within line of sight of somebody. If he gains line of sight, he awakens from his slumber and gets after him right away, but otherwise he waits until the 3rd round. Okay, we're going to bring the first person in, and that first person is going to be Commando Delta, and he's at full strength, so Delta is going to be able to move up to 7, which is exactly what he's going to do. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he's going to stop right there. The way the Revenants are going to work, there is one right here, and there is another right here. There's one way up over there, and then there's one over here. The one that is closest is going to activate first, and in this case we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this Revenant right here is going to activate first. He is going to move his full complement of 4. 1, 2. Yeah, he can move through there. 3 and 4. No, he can't move through there. It looks like he can move through here, but if you look, these do not share a colored circle, which means that there is no way to move through, otherwise they would have line of sight there. So this is obviously a wall that goes through there, which means his closest spot to move is going to be through this circle right here. So he is going to be 1, 2, 3, and you can't stop at that particular circle, so he's going to go 4 right here and he'll stop there. Alright, that is going to bring on down in here we'll take Commando Alpha, and Alpha has the Go 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 ability, which allows him to receive 3 extra movement points, but he can't use his other action to attack. So he's going to start in here, and he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go 7, and he's going to, this is what I use for just crates, and there's a crate in each corner of this map. He will use his action, since he can't use it to fight, which he wasn't going to anyway, to uncover this crate, and we will see what we have in there. Little advertisement for Crown Royal here. I keep all of my little guys inside this bag, and looks like we pulled out a knife. We'll set that down in there because for as much as he really wants a knife, he has other things that are better. So he's going to let that go. That will be his movement. We'll come back. The next closest person on the other side is going to be this Revenant, and he happens to be on this circle, which is moving this way. We have a bunch of one-ways in here, so you can't move back through this way, but you can move this way. He happens to be on top of this little hill or this wall anyway, so he will jump down and go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and he's going to start moving towards these guys. That brings Barry. We're going to bring Barry in next. Bring the big gun. Barry's at full health as well, so he gets to move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I believe that he is going to just sit there and call it good. We'll move the next Revenant. That next one is going to be this one that's over here. It's going to go 1, 2. It can't go past this wall because that's a one-way arrow there. So it's going to come down this way and go 3 and 4. So it's moving around the maze. And last but not least is going to be Hoax. She is going to come on. And just a couple quick things. I'm going to grab this and just kind of go over a couple of minor points with Hoax. Here is Hoax. And a couple of quick things about Hoax, and that is there's only a few new things. She can still become invisible, but the drawback to it is it was way too easy to use her against the AI. It just does not account for invisibility. So when she becomes invisible, she is going to have 2 characters on the board, 2 invisible characters, and she can use their movement. Both of them can use whatever movement points she has left when she becomes invisible, and that's not a change at all. And when she becomes visible, she removes one of the invisible, and she becomes the other invisible character as the visible character. That's also not a change. But one that is new is that she can't move through enemy characters and vice versa unless attempting a bull rush. If she bull rushes, she becomes visible. So that's an automatic visibility for her. She also becomes visible when she does a couple of things that she didn't do before, and that is if she makes an attack of any kind or throws a grenade, she becomes invisible automatically, or visible, I should say, automatically. The other one that does it for her is if she claims an objective, a flag, or opens a crate, she also turns visible, and that's also new for her. And then probably the biggest change for her, and that came into play when I played this last time, and that change is that anytime that she shares a path with an enemy, she has a 50% chance of being discovered. She'll just simply roll a d10, and if she is not discovered, she remains invisible as long as that enemy is on or sharing a path with her. If a new enemy arrives and shares a path with her as well, that new enemy may detect her, so there's another 50% chance. And if that first enemy leaves her path, but then later comes back on path with her or crosses paths with her, there's another check. So essentially it's a check for every time you share a path with somebody. It becomes a little bit more difficult for Hoax to remain invisible, but you really need to have that. Otherwise, she would just simply run through there, grab the objective really quickly before anybody saw her, and be out the door. And the rest of these guys could sit in this corner and just take care of 1 or 2 revenants that come after them. It makes it a little bit more difficult for her. Unfortunately, invisibility is her main shtick. That's what she does. And what it's doing is it's kind of tying one arm behind her back. That makes her not as desirable as it might normally, but she does play a big part in a couple of these scenarios. So that being said, let's let Hoax go. She moves at a pretty rapid pace of 8. She's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and she'll just simply remain there for, actually she's going to just back up over here and just remain there. And we might as well let her use her other action to become invisible. We'll put that one there, and this one is adjacent. And just pop this guy over here. Then the last Revenant, which is way up here, is going to move. He can't move backwards over here just simply because he This is another one of those step down walls, and he can't climb up over top of that. It's too high, so he must move this way. So he goes 1, 2, 3, and 4 right there, and he's on his way over as well. And that technically is the end of the first round, because I've moved all the revenants and I've activated all these guys, and our buddy over there in the middle does not even go this round. So that would be round 1. One thing that I neglected to mention, this particular scenario calls for the Union to have 2. That is the Union's command points. So they have 2 to use, and the Reich gets 1. And the only person that can use that 1 is the Minotaur. The Revenants will not use any command points to try to save themselves. All right. Looks like the Reich is going to go, or I should say the Minotaur's group is going to go first. Does he have the Reich symbol on him? I don't see it. Nope. Looks like he's just a demigod. All right, so they're going to Revenants are going to go. Oh, I did not add the 2 Revenants in. I need to do that really quickly, which means I have to get back to my map. Yeah, it's all the way down in here. Okay. Almost. All right, I'm there. Okay, this is the map that we are using. I think I already showed you the spawn points, so we'll just roll a couple of dice. We are going to spawn a Revenant at spot 10 and a spot 2. Spot 10 on the map happens to be filled at this moment, because that is spot 10, and if there is somebody on a particular spawn point, you must re-roll. The 2 is still available though, and the 2 is way up here. That is, oops, right there. It was 1, 2, it was right there. But the other spawn point is way up in the corner, about as far away as you can get. I seem to roll a lot of 2s, and because we couldn't put one in the 10 spot, we're gonna put one in the 6 spot, and that puts a Revenant right here. Okay, we now have 6 of them on the board, and they get to move first. This one right down in here is going to move first. He is the closest, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a tie, so it really doesn't matter. I will pick this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. He is going to move to that spot. And they will always move, even if it's going to put him in harm's way. They will always move as much as they can towards the Union. All right, first Union player is going to go. And we're going to try to get him in. We're actually going to take him and go past this Revenant. He doesn't have line of sight through here anyway, so we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And that is the birdcage, which happens to be over on this side. It costs an action to call it over, but you can move for free. So he will call this baby over to him, and he will hop on that, and you can actually move for free, according to what I read in the rules, over to the other side. And if I have that one wrong, that's the way I've been playing it, and it does not seem to have affected anything, so I'm okay with it. It does cost an action to call it over, though. So he is on that side already, which is kind of cool. Allows you to jump from one side of the map to the other instantly. It's kind of a neat device. So that's his turn. The next turn will be another Revenant. He is going to go 1, 2, and 3. And he's going to stop right there. Next up, we are going to go with, let's see, we're going to let Barry try to do some damage here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And he is going to open fire on one of the Revenants. Now, with Barry, I've got to get just about every die I have out here, because he rolls just about everything. He's got the flash gun. If you've never used him, well, you probably have. He's probably most people go to. But he uses the flash gun, and because of the flash gun and the BA-27, he gets to add a couple extra dice when he gets to add 1 with it. He normally shoots 5, but in this case, because of the hardware, he fires 6. And if you played him before, you know that if he gets any natural 10, which he didn't, he would actually add another couple of dice. That's how I took out the Minotaur last time. He is a battle of 6 right now, or his weaponry is 6, so he needs a 4 to hit. So he has 1, 2, 3 hits on these guys. Now, here's the thing with the Revenants. The Revenants do not roll shock rolls. They have 3 hit points, and that is it. And if they take 3 hits, they are dead. So this Revenant is gone. Or kaput. He's out of the game, and that's why they spawn so fast, because they have a tendency to come on strong when they're in numbers, but it takes a while sometimes for them to build those numbers. So that is Barry's turn. Next up is the next Revenant. The next closest one is going to be this guy over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have, we're going to let Commando Alpha go, I believe. And he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And is he going to try to take him? Yes, he will come right to this spot right here. Commando Alpha is going to go after that particular Revenant. And he has a grenade and the M50, and he's going to just simply shoot the M50. That is 5 dice. He's going to see what he can do with this guy. And he needs a 5 to hit, so there's 2 hits right there. There's a 3rd hit right there. He got 3 hits, and as we know, these guys don't roll shock rolls, so that one's gone as well. Alright, seems easy, doesn't it? Just wait. Next up would be another Revenant, and there is another one back over here. So he is going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4 and start moving in. And then we're going to let Hoax take off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One of her is going to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll send one up that way. So she's going to split herself off and see what she can see. Okay. Another Revenant is going to move, and he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And since there are no more Union characters to move, the other Revenant will go 1, 2, 3. And he can't move into this particular spot right there because it costs 2 movement points, so he can't reach it. So he is kind of stuck in the corner. The last time I played, that was the bane of the Revenant's existence because they kept trying to move out of that spot, and it took 2 turns to move anywhere. It became a bit of a pain. So that being said, that is all of the turns for both people. Yes, it is. We'll move on to the next, and we are in the 3rd round. By the way, I'm not using the event cards for this particular game, and I'm doing that on purpose because they are really kind of there for Castle Kazaz or Kazaz, and I don't really think that they all work very well for this this mission, so I'm not going to use them. You could probably still use them and not just not ignore the ones that were castle specific, but as of right now, I'm not going to use them. So it looks like the Reich is going to go first. Now, this happens to be 3rd round, which means Astros is finally going to get into play. We didn't get there quite as quickly as we needed to because we got slowed down, so he is starting to wake up. He has heard the gunfire. And it's round 3, and he goes first all the time. So we will pull his first card and see what it has to say. And it is Evladris, which is this little guy, that big old axe that he's got. If it's in hand, move adjacent to the nearest enemy and attack with it. If it's not in hand, move him toward the nearest enemy. Now, this is one of those cards that says move him adjacent to the nearest enemy, not towards the nearest enemy. So he is immediately going to start hoofing it, literally. To the nearest enemy. For him, that nearest enemy is going to be, well, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, the nearest enemy is going to be right here. So we may have our first casualty of the game immediately. So he immediately goes boom, 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 puts himself adjacent to that enemy. That's how quickly he's going to move sometimes. And he is going to attack with Labris. And that thing is pretty damn powerful. He is going to roll 6 dice with it, and it can be thrown from a distance, but he's not going to have to throw it. Let's take a quick look at what we have here. Here's his card for it. You can go pick that thing up, but it gets 6 dice to attack with to begin with. And he also can get himself a counterattack, and he gets because he has the command pack, he has armor that allows him to roll an additional die when he makes shock rolls. So he is pretty dang tough. There are 4, and here it is, 6 dice. He's going after Alpha right now, and he is all 7s until he gets to the last row. So because of those 7s, he hits on a 3. So there's 1, 2, 3. He is hitting on 5 of 6 dice here. Looks like Alpha is in more than a little bit of trouble. So here are his shock roll dice. He needs to roll a 5 to avoid anything. So he avoids 2. We will use a command point to help him avoid, oops, let's get down to 1 here, to help him avoid another one, so 3, but he was hit 5 times, so he is already going to take boom and boom two hit points worth of damage there. And he only has 3, so he probably is not going to be around very long. Okay, that was the first turn for the enemy. We're going to have Alpha go, and you might as well use this grenade now. He is going to toss that grenade, and he's going to put it in right behind Astros over here, so that it explodes there and it hits the adjacent spots to that circle, which happens to be where Astros is. That is 4 automatic successes. Now here's where the screw you kind of comes in for the Union, and that is that there are 5 shock dice being rolled. And not only is it 5 shock dice being rolled, but he's 7s here as well, which means he only needs a 3. So he got hit 4 times, but 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. He has taken care of all 4 of those. That is the power of Astros. That's the one thing that he can do. That's why Barry had to hit him, I think, 8 times in order for him to even wound Astros the last time I played this game. So you want to avoid this guy if possible, which is exactly what is going to happen right now. I need to get a rebel token out, so I will be shutting off and be right back. Okay, just a couple quick things if you're not all that familiar. When you're throwing a grenade, they have to share a path, which they do. They're both on green circles, and you can throw it to any open circle within the range of 5, and that's what he did. You can bounce at 1 off a path, but he didn't need to. And then, of course, it hits where I just described. And then the last thing is you need to put a rebel token down over there, which makes you have to use 1 more movement point in order to use that. Now, here is one thing that I didn't really think of, and that is because of his crown, Asteros is able to flip his crown token over, which is this guy right here, and he's able to launch a counterattack without spending a command point. The token's flipped face up during the refresh tokens phase, so guess what he's going to do? He's going to launch a counterattack. And the only thing he has to do is use the worst row for his attack, and that just happens to be 6s, which is still pretty darn good. He is going to do that, which means he is going to attack the same way he attacked last time. Kind of an unwritten rule. I didn't put that in there, but if he attacked one way and it's available to him, he would attack the same way. If he had thrown Labrys and he was next to a person who attacked him and he was within adjacency, he would attack hand to hand. Again, it's one of those, you need to use a little bit of common sense here and there. And if that needs to be written out explicitly, I guess I could do it, but it just seems like you should be able to pick that one up. He does make a counterattack. He does have Labrys in hand, and he's going after the same guy. He needs to get 4s in order to hit him. So there's 2, 3, and 4, and 5. So he hit him another 5 times. My guess is we're going to see the end of Commando Alpha. He needs a 6 now. So he got rid of 1 of them. So he got smashed pretty darn good. And Alpha in round 3 is already down. While I'm on it, I've got the card right here. Technically, you should always be doing this first, rolling to see if it is going to pertain to this particular round. And in this case, if I roll odds on a D10, which I will right now, I did not. But had I rolled odds on a D10, Astros would gain a second action at the end of the round, which means he would get to go again after everybody else is already gone. And that's one of the reasons why he activates first for his side. But he did not get that, so he won't be going again. All right, he is down. Now, this brings into question one of the solitaire rules that is optional, but you could play, and I do believe that this one is in here. So if it is, I am going to look it up because I have not had to use this rule in quite some time. And that is the bleeding out rule, and it is right in here. And it does say when a hero sustains enough wounds to be eliminated, he's considered to be bleeding out. So I guess I don't really have to worry about this, since that is not a hero, that is a trooper. So he is going to be just simply gone, and we're going to let him go. While I know that command points can be used to bring in additional troopers in the regular game, unless it specifically states it, I don't assume that we're going to use those for the solo mode. There's a reason why you only go in with so many characters. You know, I'm sending you in with 4 in this particular scenario, not 14, because you need to get in and out pretty fast. And that's the whole idea, is to be stealthy and move around quickly and get the stuff that you need to get and get out. It's not a full-on assault on the caverns here. Okay, so he is down. That brings up, that was actually Alpha's turn, so that brings up the Reich for their first turn other than the Minotaur. That brings the closest, which would be this Revenant. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, and since this dude is dead, he will just simply drop that. We'll move him out of there, and then we'll go 4, and that Revenant's going to deal 3 automatic successes to Barry, and Barry's going to have to roll for shock roll here. You can see things are starting to pile up already. Barry's shock roll happens to be 4 at this time, and he gets 2, so they will use another command point, and he's going to get rid of all 3 of those. And that's generally what I use my command points for. Alright, it's Barry's turn, or is it? Let's see here. We could have... I'd have to bull rush to get past this guy, or I could just simply kill him. Barry's going to go after that Revenant right there, and then I think he's going to have to get on the move. Alright, here we go. Hit, and dead. That particular dude is out. I'm not sure if I brought the other 2 Revenants in at the beginning of this round. I don't think I did. I'm going to roll for those guys right now. One of those things, as much as I claim it on a consistent basis, I guess I'm just not perfect. I get that one, and there's one up in the corner over there, so there's 2 more right in there. Unfortunately, that didn't really affect anything because they would not have moved yet anyway, but those are the 2 that should be in here this round. Okay, so Barry takes that Revenant out, and I do believe he is going to start moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we'll move him up into here, and he is on his way to getting that flag. Next Revenant is going to be closest one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Is probably going to be this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. He moves himself there. We are going to move Commando Delta. You can ignore 1 point of penalty for each movement modifier circle he enters. So if he happens to enter 1, he can. But right now he's moving 7. He's pretty fleet of foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he's on the way. That puts him within range of this Revenant, who will go next. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oddly enough, though, there is a little bit of stuff in the way right here, and so that Revenant can't see the Commando at this point, so he's still safe. Next up would be Hoax, and Hoax is going to move her complement of 8. 1, 2. Now, if she goes into here, that is going to put her possibly within sight, and we'll show you what that's like. 1, 2, and once she gets into here, she is going to share this path with that Revenant. So when she does that, she's going to have to roll. And odds, if she rolls, she has a 50%, so odds she will become visible to that Revenant. And I rolled a 9, so here she is. That puts her back up on the board. Takes that one off, takes the other invisible off, and she has to remain invisible visible for right now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, she's just going to hightail it. She's going to start 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to move as fast as she can. Okay, that gets her out of there. That makes this guy move next, and he's going to go 1, 2, 3, and 4. And while he is really close to her, if you know the rules at all, which I'm sure you do, you'll know that these have to be touching each other in order for them to be movement circles, which is why I moved her up here and down here first, because you can cross both of those with the token. And in fact, these tokens are actually wider than these bases anyway, and you can see that she floats through the middle of that, and this thing just barely does not touch either one of them. So he is not adjacent to her, and he has no ranged weapon. He just fights melee, so he doesn't actually attack her on this one. They have all moved though, so that makes the rest of the revenants move, which is just going to be the two that are up here. So it looks like he's going to come back around now. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and he's going to come this way. Then we have 2 and 4, because it takes forever to get out of that back corner. That's what I was talking about before. And that actually is going to be that round. So we are on to initiative again. And guess who wins this one? Astros goes first. I'm going to pull up his card. There is no additional information on the bottom, so it's just what the card is. The Rage of Minos. Move toward the nearest enemy and attack with Labras or hand-to-hand if possible. If adjacent to multiple enemies, attack all of them. Roll separately for each one. And that is what he's using, the command pack. And you can see that the combat and command is up there. If you had the stamina pack, it's down there. But for this one, he uses the command pack, always. So he is going to move and attack if he can. His movement is 7. So he will move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and come right up behind Barry and give him the axe. So 2, 4, and 6 dice. Is that right? Yes, it is. And he drops it. Whoops. You know what else I forgot to do? I forgot to put the revenants in again. I get so excited about using him. We'll let him do his attack and then we'll put the revenants in. They don't go yet anyway. So, boom, there's a 10. Is there a natural 10 on this one? Nope, no natural 10. Okay, but he does hit on a 3, so there's that one, there's that one. 2 1s. He hits 4 times. Barry will attempt to shake it off. Doesn't like being axed in the back. We're back up to 2 points, 2 command points. Barry needs, that's a hell of a roll. Barry needs a 4, so he shook off all 4 of those. So he sidesteps the axe, and he could technically use a counter attack at this point if he wanted to, but I think what he's going to do is shoot and move if he can. So we'll do that. And he's going to turn around, say thank you very much. Now it's your turn, and give him everything he's got. Short range is where he got him last time. Again, he needs a 4 because he has not been hit yet. He gets 3, and there's his natural 10. So he missed with these 2, but I will roll those as the extra 2 because he had a natural 10, and there is the other 2. I don't believe that on the second natural 10 he gets to roll again. I think it just happens to be he hits 6 times. That's pretty darn good. So 5 shock roll dice. Oh, I forgot to refresh this token, but because of the armor, he gets an extra die. He only needs a 3. And guess what? He got all 5 of those. He was hit 6 times, but that's what that one command point happens to be for. And he's going to flip that. And although he took some damage, he's going to shake it off with that one command point. He's going to use the crown once again, and he is going to make another attack. And he's going to do it the same way he did last time. Swing of the axe. And here we go. Holy cats. 6 hits. Barry is not too happy about that one. He's going to take some damage on this guy. And he manages to shrug off 3 of them. There's a 2 up there. He will use a command point and make it 4. But he got hit 6 times, so good night, sweetheart. And he is pretty wounded right at this point. Could probably use... Well, he's got a grenade there, I didn't even notice it. But it's not as good as his gun. He could probably use some health if there was some around here. Okay, that was still Barry's turn. He didn't use his movement points yet. Unfortunately for him, he's knocked down to 5 now, so he is going to use them, but he's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. He's going to get himself into the center of the circle here. So he is right next to the objective. This particular mission cites that you have to have, let's see here, secure the scroll. You must have a dexterity or an athletic symbol to take the scroll. Anyone without that must pass a mental test and a movement test to take the scroll. So While he can't do it right now anyway because his turn is over, he happens to have the athletic skill, so he could take it, and he is one of the few because these other guys don't really have that stuff. Actually, Hoax could do it too, but she is way back over here. The other guys would have to pass 2 tests in order to pick that scroll up, and that's what we're after, the ancient scroll. So Barry has moved. The remaining people to go, I needed to put down my 2 new revenants, and we're at a 2 and a 6 again, which I swear is the same 2 spots that we had last time. The 6 spot is right here. That seems to come up quite a bit, and the 2 spot is way up here, and that's the one that's really hard to get out of. Why they would spawn in the middle of nowhere up there, I guess they're coming in from the outside, and it's just pretty tough to slog through that little area. But that's where they're trying to enter from. We do have some guys that haven't moved yet, so we will move them over. The revenants are not going to use the bird cage, so 1, 2, 3, 4. He is going to move that way. And who is left? He moved and moved and moved and moved. This guy did not move. 1, 2, 3. He could move there. 2, 3, and 4. All right, slowly closing in. Initiative. We'll refresh that token, refresh command points, and we are good to go. Okay. Finally, the Union wins. Barry is going to pick up. He has the right symbol, so all he has to do is use an action. It doesn't take up a slot, so he just puts it on his card, and that is number 1. He's going to take that, and he is going to move 1, 2, 3. He's going to stay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Jeez, oh Pete. Trying to figure out if okay, he's actually safe right here from the Minotaur if he just takes his regular movement. That keeps him. Astros can only move to here, I believe, and there is no line of sight right there. And he is not in the white either, so technically there is no line of sight right there. So it looks like, well, the Revenant could go either way. That was his movement. That would be the, oh, I did have to spawn. Guess I'm going to forget it every single round. A 9 and a 5. Oh, this guy should have moved 1, 2, 3. And he should have moved 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that right? So that he would have been, that changes things. So he would have actually come in, he would have attacked Barry as well. I forgot about that one spawning, and he should have spawned at the beginning, so he would have technically attacked Barry last round, which means Barry would have to make a shock roll, which he avoids 1 out of the 3. He's going to heal, he'll use the last command point, but he did still take a wound, which Barry is hurting for certain. So he still would have this round been able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is it. He can't even actually make it. Yeah, Barry couldn't. That would have been where he would have ended last round after having been hit. So he would have moved in there, and then the Revenant would have went. So actually, he wouldn't have taken that damage. That would have happened before the Revenant. So he is still okay. The Revenant would have went 1, 2, 3, 4, and he would have ended his movement right there last round. So he actually wouldn't have been attacked because he would have moved, and then this guy would have moved up. So his action still is valid. So he would take that 1, 2. He is down to just 6 movement, but he is able to move over to that spot. Why is that important? Well, it gets him out of the line of sight still. Okay, Astros goes first for the enemy, and there is no special on the bottom, so we just simply look at command and stamina, and command says move toward Labrys if unequipped, but he already has it, and pick it up, or nearest enemy if equipped, and attempt to attack the nearest enemy with Labrys if possible. So he's simply going to move, and if he can get adjacent, he will attack. And Astros has a movement of 7 still. I don't know why I have that down there. But he still has a movement of 7. He has yet to be hurt at all. So he will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's as far as he can get. This is what I was talking about earlier. He is not within line of sight, and that's the beauty of these circles. Just check the colors. And he does not have line of sight to Barry, so Barry is technically okay for a second. Barry has moved, and Astros has moved, so that brings up the other side, which is going to be Commando Delta is going to go next, and he is going to... Sorry about that. My phone just rang, and I just knocked my water bottle over all of my stuff, so I got to find out how waterproof they are. And I got it off quickly, but I got to say, it didn't soak in at all. That's kind of, even this mat is okay. Not too bad. So anyway, Delta, as I was getting at, what did I do with his... Oh, man. I was working quickly over here. I lost one of his tokens. Hold on. Okay, I lost a little token that sort of denotes what his health is. So anyway, Delta is going to get within range. He's going to move one over here, and he is going to fire at that Revenant. And he is going to use his really weak Smith & Wesson, which seems like it should be relatively powerful, but in this game, 4 dice is not all that powerful. He does need a 5 to hit, so he hit 3 times, 3 out of 4. Not too bad, because that's just enough to take out that Revenant. So that guy is gone. And he only moved 1, so he split his movement. He will then use the remaining 6, and he is going to head out of here. He's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, he has moved himself down into this corner. Oops, he shouldn't be there anymore. The ghost of Alpha. But he moves himself back out of there. So he's getting away from the Minotaur as well. It's basically a chase. He's got to stay in the area, though, because if Barry is unable to move first and stay ahead of the Minotaur, he's likely going to die, and he will drop the scroll, which means somebody else is going to have to pick this thing up. In fact, he probably should have went and got it from Barry. That would have been a smarter move. And then he could have ran with it because he's fast and got out of here. And Barry could have tried to take one for the team, I guess. Next up is going to be one of the Revenants, and that's going to be 1 and an attack right there. That's 3 automatic successes on Hoax. Hoax is going to dodge them all. She needs a 5. She gets rid of all 3 of them, so she takes no damage. She will go next, and she will... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She's going to move herself all the way up here because I have a feeling I'm going to need her up there to help out. Next up is the Revenants. Didn't see this one over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And guess what? He is going to attack. She shakes off. She needs a 4. She shook off all 3 of those again. Not bad. She's 2 for 2. It's all Revenants now, so they're all going to go. 1, 2, 3, and 4. This one's going to move as close as he can. We have this guy back up here, 2, 4. That's as far as he's going to move. This guy can't move past this circle right up in here because it's a one-way. There's a whole bunch of these in here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to start moving around the side over here. And then these Revenants, 1, 2, 3, and 4. He's going to move himself in there. And I want to say that's all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. 5. 1, 2, 3. Yep, so it's 5. Okay. And they've all moved. So everybody is gone. If I didn't lose count. So we're back up to another round. Roll for initiative. Let's try that again. Alright. And the Minotaur is going to get initiative. Astros has it. First thing we need to do is add a couple of Revenants to it. So a 7 and 5. That happens to be in a couple of dangerous spots. 5 is up in the tub up there, crawling through with water. And 7 is right here. Now, technically, you're not supposed to be putting things in these spots. I allow these to be spawn points because they're coming out of whatever is in here. There's a hole that they're coming through or whatever it happens to be. As long as they're not moving into the spot, I allow them to move out of it. It allows me to use that circle for something rather than it just simply being there doing nothing. So there's our 2 new spots. We're up to Astros. We will pull his card. And this would be his 4th turn, and he's going to use charge. Labrison is in hand, which it is. Charge and attack the nearest enemy moving through friendlies without limit to movement. So he's going anywhere he needs to go. If damage is dealt, move the enemy away from Astros equal to the number of wounds. Okay, so Astros is going to charge. And this is why he actually has a specific ability that is charged. And I know I kept his booklet up here just because of this. I knew it would come up. I knew I'd forget what it was because I just don't use him all that often. But he is able to charge. And it's in here somewhere. Let me take a quick look for it. The only other thing that could help him out really is that sonic grenade, I'm sorry, the smoke grenade, and Astros is not affected by smoke. So he will try to take a shot at him, and that's going to end his turn. He does get 4 hits on him. Unfortunately, I need a hell of a roll. And he avoided all of them. So he does hit him, but it bounces off the armor. I am going to move all the Revenants, and then I am going to charge this battery, and then we'll come back for the next turn. Oh, wait a minute. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll do the ones where there's an attack first. We'll let her avoid. No problem. She avoids all of the hits, or all the successes, I should say. And then 1, 2, 3. We'll let him try to avoid that Revenant. And he avoids 2 of them, but he will use the last command point to avoid the 3rd. So he's good there. 1, 2, he can't. This Revenant will move 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he's like, what is this? A machine gun? I don't know how to use that. And that's all of them that are on the board. So, unless I'm missing one because they're camouflaged so well. This one, did he move? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if he moved or not, but he's moving now. So, that appears to be all of them that are on the board. Now, that would bring us to round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, round 7 actually. And while I think I know what I'm going to do for round 7, I'm going to think about it for half a second, and I am going to charge this camera and give you guys a break. I'll be right back. Okay, we are back, and it's time for an initiative roll. Took a little break there, and Astros did not take a break there. He crushed it on that initiative roll. So he's going to be going first. Let's add a couple of Revenants to the game. We have one at 10, and we have one which is right at the opening here. And we have one at 3, which is up in this opposite corner. We are loading the board with Revenants. That one will go way up over here. He'll make his way down, though. He has actually a shortcut to get over to these guys. And we need to get this scroll out of here. Barry is down. Looks like he might be down for good because Astros is up first. Barry is right in front of him, and he can only take 1 more wound. And that will do it for him. So let's take a look at what we have. We have 9 Revenants on the board at this time, too. Pulling Astros' card. We saw a shadow move swiftly in the distance. As it charged towards us, we realized it was more than just a shadow. That is his card, and there's his flavor text up there. We have Horns of the Minotaur. Charge the nearest enemy. Astros has no limit this turn on movement. Astros will use his horns, melee +1 for the attack. He doesn't need the minimum of 3 circles to attack. If he deals at least 1 wound, move the enemy D2 backwards on his path. If the enemy hits a wall, he deal 3 automatic successes as well. May use a shock roll. Okay, so he is going to go first, and he is going to try to dig those horns into Barry. He's right next to him. He is going to do a melee +1, so he is going to use 5 dice for that, and that is actually listed right here because that's not a natural attack for him, so that is something that is new through the cards. 5 dice going after Barry, and he needs still a 3 to hit, which means he hit with all 5 dice. Barry will try to roll out of the way. I don't think it's going to happen. He got hit 5 times. Barry needs a 6 or better. He did get out of the way from 3 of those. I didn't refresh this, so we'll use one of those. That would be number 4, but that still gives him a wound. And guess what? If you're bleeding out and you take one more wound, that is it for you. Barry perishes in the catacombs. And he drops the scroll, and he also drops all of his equipment right there. So there's quite a bit of stuff there. And this is kind of the interesting thing, because if you drop your equipment, it can be picked up and used by someone else. There's nothing magical about Barry's flash gun. So technically, if you wanted to, Delta could pick that up. So he is going to go 1, and he is going to drop his pistol. He's going to get rid of the pistol over here. That leaves him with 2 spaces open. He is going to pick up the scroll, which takes up no inventory slot. He's also going to pick up the BAA-27 and the flash gun, and take up all the spots. Now this is the only thing that he has, is keep moving. That would take up this spot right here. So he has the rest of that stuff, and essentially, and he kept his smoke. Actually, he'll drop the smoke grenade as well and pick up the regular grenade, because since Astros is unaffected by smoke, so essentially he's taking Barry's stuff. He's going to pick that up and hightail it out of there. The only thing he's going to leave alone is the knife that Barry had. So that was 1, 2, and what way do we want to go? 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So he is on his way, hopefully out the door. Even though he's kind of taking the long way around, he's going to try to avoid Astros here. Okay, that brings us to the nearest Revenant. That happens to be this one right here, which is right next to Hoax. So that will deliver 3 automatic successes, and Hoax easily gets rid of those. So she dodges that Revenant. The Revenants apparently are hulking but slow. That brings it to just Hoax. We are down to the 2 of them. She is going to move. No sense in fighting if we can help it. We're going to try to just get out of here. So she is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And she will use her action to turn invisible, just in case. Okay, so we've got the 2 of them on a roll here, and they've got the scroll, so they just need to get out of here. Revenant time. We've got one that's right here, which I didn't even see. 1, and it is going to be on path with Hoax, so odds she appears. I got a 1, so there goes Hoax's invisibility, and it brings her back. Since it is able to see her, it is going to attack. She will roll her shock, and she gets rid of all 3 of those again as well. So that does no harm. The other Revenants, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we'll go kind of quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, or does it want to go this way? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, it can't go. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's easily going to go this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. It's making its way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like that one's going that way. Who am I missing? These 2 down here. Just want to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's now moving back that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, moving towards the fray. Okay, We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm seeing 8 revenants on the board, not 10. I'm missing one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here's number 9. I'm missing one. Oh, way up here. I forgot about this guy. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, there we go. That takes us to the end of that round. We go initiative, and once again, the Reich is on a roll. Astros will go first. We have up top, if not engaged with an enemy, and he's not, place Astros adjacent to the nearest unclaimed objective or crate if no objectives remain. Astros goes into Overwatch or attacks with Labyrinth if put on a path of an enemy. Now, while it would seem fairly obvious that he would want to go after one of these guys, he also is simply the guardian of this maze, and perhaps there is something extremely nice in one of these two objectives or crates that he feels that he needs to guard. So he is going to go closest to the nearest one. We're going to put him down here, and that is where he's going to remain on Overwatch for this this particular round. Thematically precise, maybe not, but I guarantee he's not going to be there for very long. Plus we have, I forgot to place number 10. He's going to go in spot number 8. This Revenant is going to go, and I switched to my iPad. He's going to go in spot number 8, which is right down over here, right next to where the Minotaur is. Okay. That was Astros' turn. We're going to go, we're going to have Hoax go first. She's going to take a shot at that Revenant right in front of her. See if she can't clear a path. And she needs a 4, so she hit 4 times. That Revenant is toast. She is then going to 1, 2, 3, 4. She is then going to move up the path. Or is that going to happen? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to move her right in here, and she's going to hang there for right now. The next one to go will be this Revenant, since he's right next to Delta, and he delivers 3 hits, and Delta needs to get a 5 or better. He shakes off all 3 of those without a problem. And I forgot to, of course, renew our command points. Okay, so that guy is attacking, or he attacked and he missed, so Delta's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and he's on an orange, and this Revenant's on an orange, so he's going to use the flash gun, 2, 4, and 6, and he's going to take a shot at that Revenant, which I'm guessing is going to be hellacious. And oh, look at that, there's a natural 10, so let's add 2 more. There is 4 hits right there, and Revenants can't take that, so that one dies. And he went 1, 2, 3, 4, so he will finish by going 5, 6, and 7. Alright, so they have all moved. Now it's all Revenant time. This one is particularly close, so 1, 2, 3, 4, but doesn't quite get there. Then all the rest of them. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 2 that are dead. Okay, that's everybody. They are chasing, but our heroes don't have to get too far to get out of here. So, once again, holy cow, Astros gets the initiative again. We'll put our 2 new Revenants in at 6 and 7. 6 and 7 are right in the middle. 6 is this pile of bones right here, and 7 is right over here. So those two guys will be joining. We're back up to 10 Revenants. And Astros. Move Astros, no movement, no move limit, so he'll get right back into this. From his current position to an open circle adjacent to the nearest enemy with an objective. Attack with Labrys or hand-to-hand. So, adjacent to the nearest enemy with an objective, so that would be Delta, he's the only one with an objective. Attack with Labrys or hand-to-hand. So, that's not good for him. And the flavor text, the heat from his nostrils drenched my head as he reached in and grabbed my weapon and simply crushed it. That's probably for attack number 2. So we put him adjacent. So, like I said before, yes, he was on Overwatch in this corner. He mistakenly thought that these guys went this way. He hears the sound and quickly makes his way through his own secret passages and corridors and arrives directly behind Delta. He had no idea he was coming. And even worse is it's time to attack. So we have 2, 4, and 6 dice. He attacks with Labrys, and he needs a 3. And I can't roll under a 3, so for some reason I hit all 6. I haven't rolled under a 3 in a while. Shock roll. And Delta, for his shock roll, he needs to get a 5 or better. And he did not do well. Oops, that was actually a 3. So he didn't roll out of any of those 6. I'm not even going to bother. Well, wait, maybe I am. So he takes 6 hits. If I took 5, it doesn't matter. That is it for him. He sees nothing coming, and boom, he is down. And these guys just die. So I'm going to put all of the stuff that he uses right here and remove him from the board. And then there was 1. And they share a path, otherwise she would probably turn herself invisible right away. But it is her turn, so she is going to... we're going to see if maybe we can outrun... She's got to pick up the objective, so the scroll goes with her. And that was an action. So she is going to move from there. And I could try to... No, I can't bull rush the Revenants because they don't have any anything to duel with. So she's going to have to just get around the Revenants. I think actually what she might do, since they won't use the cage, Astros will, but they won't. She could zip through the cage. No, that's not going to be any better for her. She's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And she will 7, 8. She will sit there right here and take the pain. She's going to let that Revenant get after her. Who is going to right now, since it's his turn, he will attack. And she shrugs off all 3. Not a problem. Seems to pretty much be the case. And so that's that Revenant's attack. Now all the other ones are coming after her. 1, 2, 3. Wait a minute. Oh, she couldn't get through that wall. Let's back that up. Because she is right here. She picks that up. So she picked that up instead. Because she couldn't... I was thinking she could go through this wall. She couldn't do that. 1, 2, 3. But she could do this. 1. Calls... Oh, it's an action to call that over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so she didn't get attacked by that Revenant, but it is coming now. At least this one is. 1, 2, 3. And that one's going to attack her over there. I moved her through a wall, which she couldn't do. She has a lot of abilities, but that is not one of them. And she does shrug off that Revenant's attack. Okay, so kind of the same outcome. We'll move the other ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's get all the other ones over here. 1, 2, 3. He can't land on top of that, so he sits there. This one's going to go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't move. This one can't move up here. So he will go, well, this one can go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is all of them. They're all right there ready to attack. They just haven't done anything yet. They can't get past each other to get to her. They're all melee, so I guess that's one benefit. That's going to bring us to yet another round. And last one standing is Hoax. And once again, the Reich, or I should say the Minotaur, he takes initiative. And Lost in the Shadows. Remove Astros and the Labrys token if needed from the board and randomly place them. Actually, before we do that, we've got this down here. If uninjured, Astros takes a second turn at the end of the round, but suffers 1 point of damage. No shock roll. Okay, so Astros is going to hurt himself trying to get after her. So he's going to take 2 rounds. This could be it for her. But Lost in the Shadows. Remove Astros from the board and randomly place him adjacent to an enemy character that is on a path alone. Only place Astros if he will be out of path of any enemies other than the one to which he will be placed adjacent. Attack with Labrys. The on the path alone, that might need some clarification, but all that means is the enemy character can't be with other allies. So she is the only one around, which means he would disappear from here once again. It is his maze. He's going to fall into some crack in the maze that he has created, and he magically reappears right behind her, and it's time for him to attack. And he's going to use Labrys again, obviously. He has not yet had to throw it. 3, 4, 5, 6. Because he manages to just to pop up wherever he wants. He, again, needs only a 3, and that would be all of that. So she is going to try her shock roll. And she gets out of 4 of them. She'll get out of number 5 with a command point. And then she'll take 1 wound, but she is still standing. In fact, that's her first wound, so she is okay still. That was his first turn, and he went first, so she is going to attempt to get out of here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and she's going to try to shoot that Revenant. Oh, let's go thematic and use the blue dice. 4, 5, 5. Yes. And she now needs a 5 to hit, but she hit 4 times. They don't shock roll, so that gets rid of that Revenant. And she just went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. She's going to do her very best to get out to the opening. Everybody else is going to move, so let's get all these remnants going. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that one's going to be able to attack her, so she's going to take her shock roll. And still rolling great. She needs now a... where's she at? She needs a 6 now. So she managed to get out of 2 of them, and she'll use that last command point to get out of the 3rd. So she is still okay. And then all these other guys. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll bring him around that way. And we still have the 2 that are over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to skip through the middle. See if he can't get through that way. Okay. That would be the end of the turn if it wasn't for Astros getting to go again. He has still a movement of 7, so he is going to just simply plow through his guys and go. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He can't go that way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, he is going to once again try to attack with Labrys because that's what he attacked with before, and this would be the second attack of that same type. He is on path with her, but he is not adjacent, which means he must throw it this time. So he's actually going to throw it for the first time. It's still going to be 6 dice. Try to take her from a distance. And I finally rolled a 1, and a 2. So he only hit her 4 times, which sounds okay considering how many he usually hits. And she did a decent job of getting out of some of them. She managed to get out of 2. She will use, the command points, so she still gets hit twice. Boom, boom. And she is down there. And I need to find the token for it, so I will be back. Okay, for some reason I didn't have the Axe the Labrys token on here. I had to dig through all the stuff to find it, and that's always fun. So that token's going to be where she is at right there. And he has now thrown it, which means it's out of hand for the next round. So first thing we do is we have moved all the, that was his second attack on that round, so we got to roll for initiative. She could really use it this time, but of course she does not get it. He gets it once again. He's got a 10, and so they're going to go first place the last of the revenants, and it's in a 2. Couldn't be in a better spot, at least for her. It's way up here, so that last one will go there, and then we'll pull his card. And one of the things that, now that I'm thinking about it, and I very often don't do this, but one of the things that I highly suggested that you do in the rules is deal 5 cards, or I should say pull 5 cards for 5 rounds, and then shuffle them all together to give the chance for these cards to come back up. I didn't do it in this game, and a lot of times I don't do it because there are enough cards, and it does offer quite a bit of variety, keeps the game moving a little faster, but really there's only one of each of these cards in there, so if you want that unpredictability of it coming back up again, then you might want to shuffle them after 5 rounds. It's not a bad idea. I've done it before, and it works great. I'm just not doing it this time. We do have to roll odds on a d10. Astros team automatically wins initiative next round. I don't even know that he needs that, but we'll do it again. He got an even, so at least she's got a fighting chance at it. And let's see what we have here. If Labrys is in hand, it's not, so we move down to the second command. If Labrys is not in hand, move Astros as many circles as required to pick up Labrys, equip it, and if on path with an enemy, attack with it. Okay, so move as many circles as is required. He technically could charge her. He could go through here and charge if he needed to, and he could even back up circles if he needed to do so. But it just says to move as many as required, which gives him unlimited movement once again. And so he's just going to move to an adjacent circle next to her, which the only adjacent, because this one's taken up by Revenant, the only adjacent circle next to her is going to be this one, which unfortunately is going to cut off her path. But he is going to move there. He is going to pick up Labrys. He has got that back in hand now, and he's going to attack with it. So here he comes again. I have no idea how I won this the first time around, because this is a whole lot harder. Okay, he misses with these 3. He hits with 3, though. So that's 3 hits. She's going to take her shock roll. She could really use some great numbers here. And that's a great number. She needs now a 7, so she got rid of 3 of them. And we're back up to the command point, so she can use a command point for the 3rd one. So she does get out of those 3. So she's got that going for her. She is going to, man, oh man, she needs to get past him. Let me think about this for a minute. Okay, I've thought about it for a second or two. I considered the bull rush, but it's pretty tough when the bull is a whole lot tougher than you are. So she can't really, I mean, she could do it, but it would be a miraculous roll. She would need all 7s, and he needs 3s. He's only been injured 1 time due to himself. And so that's really not a good idea. He's going to end up being there and probably wiping her out right in that spot. So sometimes the best offense is a good defense. So she is going to go on the defensive. She'll try to take out this Revenant right here. She is going to use her Colt, and she, holy cow, she needs a 7. She hit him twice, And this is the first time this has come up. But so that Revenant does not get shock rolls. He takes 2 hits of damage. However, they can take 3 points of damage, and if she doesn't deal all 3, then he takes nothing. So it's 3 or nothing. So he took 2 in the chest and just looked at it and smiled through his little ventilation mask there. And she did not move him, and she can't go anywhere. She is essentially stuck on that circle now because she didn't get him out of there. So it's the Revenant's turn. He's going to attack back, and then she'll take her shock rolls from there. And I think she's all but done here. She's going to be fine on those shock rolls, I think. She did those 2. She'll use the last command point. So she gets out of this one. But here comes 1, 2. He can't move any closer. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3 up there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Coming over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I believe that's all of them. I'm missing one. Oh, that guy up there. Nope, that's all of them. So she is what you would call completely surrounded. And it's time for initiative. I'm not really sure there's any way out of this for her. I mean, she can kill that one Revenant. She could get past him, but look at this. She finally gets initiative. She's scared for her life. She finally gets the initiative, and she's going to take a shot, and she really needs to get that guy out of the way. It'd be nice if I could drop the sonic grenade, but the problem is there's nowhere really to put it. I could kick him out, but then I wouldn't be able to move through these guys. So, not a good roll. She did the same thing that she did last time. And there's nothing else that she can really do. Sonic grenade, hardware, I'm going to choose. Okay, so she hit with this one and this one. Because she's on her last leg. She only hit once that time. She has become weak and they have become strong, so she couldn't get past this guy, and that was probably her last way out. So Astros does not have anything on the bottom of his card. His command: if Astros is on path with enemies that haven't activated, each must pass a stamina test or lose the activation. This is card 116. I had a problem with this card, so I corrected it, and I knew I'd get to it eventually. But if he's on path with enemies that haven't activated, he is not. So he goes to number 2. Move towards the Labyrinth token, nearest objective, or crate in that order and try to obtain the item. Oh, okay. Well, we're still on number 1. Astros then moves and attacks the nearest enemy with Labyrinth. So there was nobody that was not activated on his path because she's already gone. But we go down to the second paragraph. Astros then moves and attacks the nearest enemy with Labyrinth or hand-to-hand. If it is an enemy that failed the test, his shock roll is only 2 dice. So number 1 is going to happen regardless of whether somebody on his path is activated or not. Because he has somebody on path, if Astro is on path with enemies. Again, I think I'm going to have to actually change this wording once again, because it's the way it's worded, it's confusing. And if it's confusing for the person who worded it, it's definitely confusing for you. So what it's supposed to say is that if he is on path with an enemy, regardless of whether or not they have activated, he's going to be doing number 1. This one just happens to have activated, so he goes to paragraph 2, which means he then moves and attacks the nearest enemy with Labyrinth. So essentially, he's just taking the swing at her with the axe. That was a lot of wording for something very simple. So here we go, trying to deal the death blow here, and let's see if he did it. He still needs 3s, so that's a miss, that's a miss, and that's a miss. He is not as effective as he was earlier. And she's back up to 2 command points, so she could still, if she gets a decent roll, survive this, believe it or not. She did not get a decent roll. She took care of 1 of them. Command point would take care of 2, but that would be it for her because she only had 1 left, so that takes her out. She would be bleeding out at this point. If she takes 1 more point of damage, she is dead. She could move 1 at the end, but she's not going to move anywhere. So she does manage to get out of the shock roll for this, but it's the end of the round. She can't move anywhere. she is going to roll for initiative, but honestly, she got the initiative on this. Being down and bleeding out, she still rolls the initiative, but she has nowhere to go. She can't fight, so she's just going to sit there and get hammered on again. And essentially, this is going to be the end of it. I'll make it the official end by picking up a card. Let's see what the bottom part of it says first. If a successful attack is made on an enemy with an objective, Astros gains possession of that objective instead. That's great, which he probably would do anyway. Move to pick up Labrys, then move on path and attack the nearest enemy. That's what he's going to do. So here comes the death blow. And he still needs 3s, so there's 3, and there's 5. She would be up to... she defends 2. So even with a command point, she would take care of number 3, but that would still give her 2 hits. And Hoax dies deep within the maze, leaving the scroll behind. And the winner is Astros and crew. All right, so that was a failure. We would have to go into... Oh, that's the next one. No, it doesn't want to come up on my iPad. But the next page of this we would go back in, we would read the failure of the mission, and go to whatever it says to do next. So I am 1 for 2 for this particular mission, and found one more edit that needs to be made. That's it for this particular round. I'm going to get this uploaded, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. It goes much faster when you're not filming things. I would encourage you to give this a try if this is a game that you like I do. And I actually like this particular scenario. I've played this twice now, and I will definitely be playing it again as soon as I'm done. Astros is one heavy-handed son of a gun, but he is fun to try to get away from. This is one where you don't go toe-to-toe with the guy. You get what you need, and you try to get out before getting blocked. And I would say the final blow came when he was able to move adjacent, which put him behind her with unlimited movement. That really puts him all over the board. I don't know how well he would scale with the other right characters, because he'd be popping up all over the place. It would definitely have to be a 5-on-2 or some sort of situation where he needs to be put in a position where he is who he is, and that is a demigod, and he needs to be perceived as such. And I thought he was just a little bit too easy to kill before, and I see that I was very wrong. All right, take it easy.